Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Boogie, man.
To the greatest sports show on the planet, La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
What up? That's what you call one of those joints where you just start Beetlejuice.
yeah, this man Bryce was not backstage. All of a sudden, the intro hit, and then boom.
Hey man, y'all know how the good Mister does, man. Game time decision turned into a 50-point game.
Yeah,
You've been listening to too much Kendrick, man, popping up like the boogeyman and shit.
You like Dion coming off the plane for the playoff game and shit.
Believe it or not, Rome, some people know me as that, man. All right, like I said, man, game time decision turned into a historic night. Let's get it popping, man.
All right, man. Historic night on the way, man. You know what it is, man. Bryce, you the host, but I'll do the intros. You know what it is, man. Scruff, District Homes, DMV. You feel me? World champions. You feel me? But let him introduce the gang. Top right, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. You know who it is. Your boy Young Rome 22 on all socials, man. Man, hate seeing the Eagles win the Super Bowl, especially by a big margin, man. We got a lot to talk about. I'm sure these dudes are gonna try to convince me that Pat somehow is ungoated now, or they're gonna talk crazy because I put Pat up here, and now they're gonna try to convince me otherwise. But we got a lot to get into, man. So let's get into it.
I think the proper term would probably be deflowered. Bottom left. Yeah, he says it's not all pretty anymore. Top left, bottom left.
T-Boogie, man. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Stay warm out there. It's cold on this side of the country. You know what I'm saying? Hey, coming off that boom bop, bop, boom bop, bop, Super Bowl halftime performance. I'm still feeling invigorated, man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't much of a game, but that halftime show got me dialed in, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to show up. Let's get it, man. Let's have a good show.
All right. Last but not least, the host for tonight, bottom right.
At Bryce XXV Double I, aka Mr. Big Leaguer, aka the good Mister, aka the banker, man. Let's get it in tonight, fellas. Definitely a lot to talk about. I'm excited to talk about the Super Bowl. Seems like T's more excited to talk about the halftime show. That was the highlight of his 2025 so far was a seemingly weak halftime show by Kendrick Lamar. But we're going to get into all of that tonight, man. So first and foremost, let's start off with the game, man. And Ron, we're gonna get to you. We're going to get to you, Ron. All right? Because seems like Patrick Mahomes could do no wrong in your book. But before we get to that, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the Eagles first, man. End of the day, they are the champion. And it was a hell of a showing. Hell of a showing by the Eagles. Damn, did I freeze up?
Yeah, your audio going strong.
My audio going strong. With the audio, man. Well, yeah, again, it would be if we didn't talk about the Eagles first, it just wouldn't be right, man. So I want to start with you, Scruff, because according to yourself, you was being humble until the actual game, man. So what did you think about from the Eagles' perspective? What did you think about the game? I'm gonna try to fix my video feed as you talk.
Yeah, I'm trying to answer this question like Jalen Hurts style. Y'all never get too high, y'all never get too low. You gotta make it through the storm, man. One step at a time. Nah, I'm just fucking around. No, but seriously though, I feel good about the win. I feel vindicated because I told y'all the defense was the difference. In this team. I feel the defense is going to be the difference because a lot of teams don't got elite players on both sides of the ball. One thing about the Eagles, man, true to the organizational structure, the way they're building their teams, they build them from the inside. O-line, D-line, that's the formula for them. It always has been. And that was the formula this win, especially on the defensive side. So I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't expect it to be so dominant. But I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson has said last year He said, yeah, replay that Super Bowl on regular grass, and it's a wrap. And maybe he was on to something, because, like, you know what I'm saying, Mahomes, he was in the sunken place. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was stuck. You know what I'm saying? Didn't put any points on the board. Let's be honest. The Eagles won that Super Bowl by 40 points. In reality, Mahomes didn't sniff a point or really any form of productive offense until the game had got out of hand. You know what I'm saying? It would be the equivalent of you playing Madden against your mans, and he up 40, and now he out here doing tricks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where it's at. Mahomes didn't get any tangible offense on the board until the game was far out of reach, to the point where if you go on FanDuel and you bet $10,000, you get back $10,001. That's how bad the odds were. If we're being honest, there was never a point in the game where the Chiefs had a chance, except for the very first few drives. Shit got out of hand, really up until that pick even. You might have thought, oh, they're going to turn it around. And then I was like, no joke. I texted in the chat. I said, yeah, I looked down, I blinked, and now we got the ball back. You know what I'm saying? And that was the kind of day it was for the Chiefs. 3 and out after the next. The defensive line, crazy. What you can do when the penalty, you know what I'm saying? It's the formula we've been talking about all season. But just the disruption, just pure disruption. Shout out to my boy that had a crazy game. Sweat, the unsung hero. I'm really the hero. This is really Howie Roseman. Hell of a GMing job. People don't know it was Sweat, man. We couldn't afford Sweat. We didn't have enough money. We had Hassan Reddick in the offseason. We had Sweat. We switched to a different scheme, 3-4 scheme. He's a 4-3 defensive end. He slimmed down. He lost like 20 pounds. He took a pay cut. Man, it really takes little pieces like that to make some stuff work. So, shout out to Sweat. Shout out to the team, all these different people. Gardner Johnson, that was on the team 2 years ago. We lost him for 1 year, and defense fell apart. Came right back. He was a key part of the team. So just a lot of little pieces to put it together. Overwhelming victory for the Eagles, man. But it just took a lot of pieces to it, and it was truly a team victory. To the end. And there's no better feeling than beating the GOAT, or baby GOAT, according to Rome. You feel me? The best player on earth. And you know what we saw? That man human, he bleed just like us.
All right, we do appreciate that TED talk, man. But no, I can't take nothing away from y'all. Yeah, it was a dominating performance. I think like the Chiefs had something like 34 yards at halftime, 34 yards of offense. That's ridiculous, man. And it was 34-0 before they got past the 50-yard line. That is ridiculous. Like, y'all don't get past the 50-yard line before the other team scores 34 points. In all honesty, it's embarrassing. And you know what? The thing that kind of pisses me off the most about that W is you got some people, these quote unquote historians, right? That look back at things 10 years later, right? And for those type of people, they're gonna look back at this game, they're gonna look at the box score in 10 years, and they're gonna see 40 to 22. And that does not tell the story of what that game was. You know what I'm saying? Like, that game was 34-0. You know what I'm saying? 40-0. Like, but the way it's gonna go down in history, it's gonna be interesting, because I'm telling you, man, the way people are gonna remember that, they're gonna remember 40-22 more than they remember the sheer dominance that was actually displayed. But yeah, shout out to the Eagles. Can't take nothing away from them, and it was an impressive performance on both sides of the ball, which brings me to my first question for the gang, right? We had to let Scrub get his little shit off, you know what I'm saying? It was only right. But my first question for the gang is, like, to some it might be an obvious one, but I want to hear y'all's takes, is what were y'all more impressed with throughout the game for the Eagles? Was it just an obvious, this is all about the defense, or were y'all equally impressed with the offense? So I think I got an off take on this one that most people won't. Ron, we're gonna start with you, man. Were you more impressed with the offensive display or the defensive display of the Eagles?
By far the defense. By far the defense. I mean, you just laid it out. Uh, Baby goat, all that goat talk aside, you hold a professional NFL team to under 30 some yards passing, or total or whatever it was. They don't get past the 50, and it's you have 34 nothing. You get pick sixes and all that. It's by far the defense. That was the most impressive defensive performance we may have seen in the Super Bowl. I would have to go back and double check. I'm not a historian like that. But I'd say when people look back 40-22, whatever the score, they'll remember this dominant defensive performance by the Eagles. They'll remember the Eagles completely obliterating what is the best player on earth, as Scruff said. The face of the league, as T said before the show started. And I think that's what this game will be remembered for. Yes, Jalen Hurts was the MVP. I think that's very debatable. But the Eagles defense by far was the most impressive thing to me in this game.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to debate that, like, in a vacuum, I would say, right? But the more I've been thinking about the game, like, if it's one thing I expected, there were two things I expected to show up in the game, right? One was the Eagles defense, right? I mean, that's been their calling card all season, right? The other thing I expected to show up in the game, I think we kind of discussed this a little bit, or y'all discussed this a little bit the week previous, was Saquon Barkley. And Saquon didn't really have a game, you know what I'm saying? And I think that brings me to my point is I think I'm equally impressed with the Eagles offense, namely Jalen Hurts for getting the job done the way that he did. I said on the show a couple weeks back, like, if Jalen Hurts is in that 70, 80 yards rushing, if he's got in that territory, the Eagles are going to win that game. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, they did. Another interesting thing was Jalen Hurts broke his own record for a quarterback rushing record in the Super Bowl, right? Which is impressive. Like, he had the record at 70 yards, then goes out and runs for 72. To me, as good as that defense was in that game, and I think the defense probably played better. I think I was more impressed by the offense because I just wasn't expecting that level of offensive efficiency, specifically from the passing game. I think Jalen Hurts really rose to that moment. T, I want to get your thoughts on that, man. Defense versus offense. Were you way more impressed than the other, or was it a wash in your book?
It was a wash, man. I mean, the Chiefs didn't give up enough resistance to even. Everybody wanted to have a good game, had a good game. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, there were some performances we didn't. Some people didn't expect. I thought Hurts played a little better than I assumed he would play. I knew they wouldn't let Saquon run all over the field. I knew that much. What I'm most impressed with, though, was the poise the Eagles came in with. And that's one of my underrated qualities, period, right? And a spouse, and a coworker, and a friend. Like, when people are poised, man, it's almost like you can't shake them. Like the Eagles came in that game, and we've seen people play the Chiefs in a way where they get up and they play call like we got to protect the lead. Let's kind of run the ball and milk the clock, and we can't let Pat get the ball back. I thought the Eagles came in there and played like, I don't care if they get the ball back. They can't do anything with us. When Hurst threw that interception, I said, maybe we have a game. No, Eagles didn't flinch. I thought that was really impressive to walk in that stadium and feel like, I don't care what the legacy says. I don't care what your history is. I don't care about no three-peats. We're the better team, and they played like the better team. This is the first time I've seen the Chiefs play like I don't know if we can win this game. From the first drive, the play calling I thought was scared. I thought this was Andy Reid. I mean, I'm gonna just answer the question. I thought the poise, you know what I'm saying, was the most impressive part, and that was on both sides of the ball, but particularly from the quarterback. So I'm a lean quarterback offense if I had to pick one.
Yeah. I feel that. I'm in the same boat, and now don't worry. We're gonna get to them Chiefs, man. We're gonna get to them. We're gonna dissect that. But yeah, I agree with you there. Like, I think, and I think it's more because it's what is was least expected, right? You know what I'm saying? We expected that defense to go out and play good. You know what I'm saying? That was expected. I expected Saquon to have to break a couple, and that didn't happen, right? But for Jalen Hurts to have the game he had in the largest moment, it's impressive. And you know what? I was thinking about like who Jalen Hurts reminds me in history. And real quick, Rome, you said you can't remember a dominant defensive performance like that. I feel like that time the Broncos made it versus the Seahawks, it was real similar game where they just kind of got like shut out from Jump Street.
I
But
want to say the Broncos shut out Cam pretty bad too in that Super Bowl.
yeah, you're right. You're right. They did shut him out too. So there's been a couple times where like like that defense wins championships mantra holds up. But back to this thought I've got about the Eagles, man. Like, I do like to think back in historical context sometimes because I think like history repeats itself in ways. And I was thinking like, man, who does Jalen Hurts really remind me of, bro? Because the offense didn't really look like shit during the regular season, if we being honest, bro. Like you can be so if you're subjective and you're an Eagles fan, you might say otherwise. But from a passing standpoint, like the quarterback, it never really looked right to me during the regular season. But every time Jalen Hurts got in a big game this year, he was on fire. And it reminds me of Eli Manning, bro. I feel like Jalen Hurts is this generation's Eli Manning to where like, he might not have the great regular season. You know what I'm saying? But when it's Super Bowl time, like your man is putting up his best game of his career. And I feel like Eli did that in his 2 Super Bowl wins. That's exactly what he did, bro. It was like a top 15, top 16 regular season for a quarterback. But then you get to the playoffs and he goes on this crazy run with an outstanding defense. And that's what I see from Jalen Hurts. I feel like he's this generation's Eli, man. When it's all said and done, the numbers might not be crazy for his career, but we're gonna look back and say, all right, this dude won in the big moments. So let's get the opinion of an Eagles fan, man, comparing the offensive performance to defense performance.
Well, real quick on that Eli thing, man. The one thing about Eli, man, is the 2 years that Eli went on a Super Bowl run. Obviously, he won all the games that year, but the other years that he made the playoffs, like he didn't win any games. Just so you know. And that's the difference between Hurts and Eli. Hurts is pretty consistent. He's going to advance. He's going to make noise. But anyway, but yeah, honestly, I love hearing what you guys are saying. Bryce, T, I agree with what you guys are saying. The difference is expectations, right? So my expectation of Hurts was I knew that he was capable of doing that, right? I just felt like the way the offense moved in that game, it was the epitome of you take what the defense gives you, right? Because the defense wasn't giving us the run, right? With Saquon anyway. But so what the defense give us, you know what I'm saying? They were trying to blitz, whatever. But Hurts did what he had to do. And I believe that he was going to do that. So that didn't really surprise me. What did surprise me was the way in which the defense dominated against Patrick Mahomes. That really did surprise me, like to that degree. I knew we could get home on him, but like we abused him so bad. And I lean towards defense because of that. I've never seen him really dominated like that. If I'm being honest, like we've seen him get beat before, but like I think this was like the most where I'm like, this man looks lost. You know what I mean? And because of that, I lean defense.
All right, respect. Let's jump into the Pat Mahomes conversation because it's clearly where everybody wants to go, right?
Before we get into that QB conversation, I gotta talk about this crazy ass comp you just gave with Jalen Hurts and Eli Manning. That's ridiculous, bruh. That's ridiculous, and I'm surprised Scruff even stood for this blasphemy. Jalen Hurts is way better than Eli Manning. Used to lead the league in interceptions. Like I believe it was like 3 or 4 times, like multiple times. Jalen Hurts does not turn the ball over historically. Like that's one of his better features. Like I think the Jalen Hurts to Eli, he is not this generation's Eli Manning. That's like low key disrespect. Scruff, I'm surprised you stood for that.
I didn't.
Wait,
first of all,
I
didn't stand for it.
Look, we I don't know if we can. I don't know, man, because like, and again, I'm comparing the ability to show up, with the biggest games, right? That's what I'm comparing Jalen Hurts, Eli Manning as. I'm not necessarily comparing their play styles, right? I'm
Oh,
not
clearly.
comparing like obviously one is a running quarterback and one was a pocket passer, right? So I'm really
Yeah,
not
but Jalen's lows aren't nearly as low as Eli's lows. So it's not even about the style. It's about the ceiling and the floor. You could say, yeah, Eli showed up in big moments. But if we're being honest, Jalen Hurts didn't have a bad season. Did he have an MVP caliber season? No, but I wouldn't say that this was a bad year from Jalen Hurts at all.
You know what he reminds me of, if I'm being honest? I feel like
Jalen
it's a
Hurts
mix
threw
between
3,000 yards. What have we throw? 3,000 yards
three
this season?
some three th-
E-
three
E-
three
Eli
three
Eli
something.
Manning has had seasons where
Um,
we've looked at him and said he is trash. The Giants have thought about moving on from
yeah.
him in the middle of his career.
Well, but I'll say for Hurts, I feel like he's more Russell Wilson than anything. I'll give him like a between. To me, it's like a mixture of Russell Wilson and Steve McNair. But
I'm not comparing the players, bro. Like if we talk about play styles, we get into play styles. I'm not comparing that. I'm comparing the fact. I don't know what happened with that one. Just kicked everybody. All right, so I'm not comparing
Glitch.
the play styles, right? I'm not saying like I'm not giving player comps right here, right? I'm talking about players, bruh. Jalen Hurts did not have a good. He did not have probably didn't even have a top 10 quarterback season this year, right? So I'm not comparing like who they are as players and the play style. I'm comparing like the type of player that gets into the big game and is a totally different player than what they've been all season, right? And I think that's something that you really can't teach, bruh. Like that's something like
it's
some
a game
players
of
are winners, right? And some
yeah.
players in the biggest games play their best. That's what Eli Manning was.
No. I'm
If,
with you on that.
if we go through
I,
Jalen Hurts' career and he ends with 4 Super Bowls, all right, then yeah, then my comparison right now wouldn't even be close. But I don't think that's what we end up seeing. I'd be surprised if Jalen Hurts gets, if he gets another one, I'll be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But I just think as far as like, biggest game, the lights are the brightest, and you show up in a way that you hadn't may not even showed up all season. You may not even showed up until the lights got the brightest. That
I'm
is impressive to me. And that's why I used to see from Eli.
I'm with you on that, right? All right, so stay with me, right? So I think in that sense the comparison makes sense. I just don't think Hurst's lows are as low as Eli. But if we're talking about people that show up in the biggest moments that may not have a great regular season but show up in the biggest moments, who does that consistently and who doesn't that I have said is better than the other? Jalen Hurts does that consistently. Josh Allen consistently does not show up in those biggest moments. I've been saying for years on this show that Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback than Josh Allen. And I'm pretty sure that this Super Bowl kind of puts a cap on that for me. Like I'm feeling
See, now
vindicated,
this
Mr. Vindicator.
is the thing about what you're saying, right? Giants fans would use that same argument for Eli back in the day, bro. When they would compare him. This is why you can't have it both ways, right?
Eli's not even in this tier though,
I
because
know,
Eli
but
would turn around and then have a
it's the same.
interception filled season.
It's the same argument they would use, and I remember being in those arguments. They would try to tell me that Eli was better, as good as Breeze, or better than Rodgers, or better than Favre. I remember these conversations, and that's exactly what they would point to. I don't think Hurts is better than Josh Allen as a quarterback, but if you tell me, hey, we got the biggest game in the world, who would I rather have? I'd rather have Jalen Hurts. I know what he's gonna do in that huge game, bro. Like,
Yeah.
but if I need a 16 game season and I need a better performer,
Nah, bro.
I'm drafting
I love
If we're picking a quarterback,
I'm drafting a
and you,
fantasy quarterback with Josh Allen, bro.
that's crazy.
Nah, I love what I'm hearing. I love what I'm hearing.
It's blasphemy. This is insane, bro.
He's got a reputation. Well, that's what happens, team. When you perform in a big game, you get a reputation for being a big game performer. And on the other side, Rome, when you choke in the big game, you get fucking reputation for being a big game choker, Rome. That's what the fuck happens, bro. And Patrick Mahomes choked in this game, bro.
Did Jalen Hurts choke in the big game last season?
Hell no. He
Why?
balled the fuck out.
Jalen Hurts I'm talking about
last season in the Super Bowl, he ain't ball out. Oh, two seasons ago. My bad.
Yeah,
2 seasons ago.
Nah, what you talking about?
I'm talking about the season before last. What did Jalen Hurts do?
The defense fell apart mostly.
But you're not answering the question, man. He asked you, what did Jalen Hurts did? You said talking about the defense. What did Jalen Hurts do?
I don't recall him playing bad.
All right, listen. The point I'm trying to make.
How did y'all end up with Big Boy in the middle?
Carter. He no one wanted to draft him. Remember?
and what's the other dude's name?
You don't remember that?
What's the other dude? How'd y'all end up with Jordan with Davis?
Nolan Smith.
No,
he was a 10. He was a top 10 pick. Davis was like 3-4 years ago.
And how do you end up with a top 10 pick?
Bro, he's talking about last year. We've had Jordan Davis.
I'm talking about Jalen Hurts in general, bro. When we start talking about,
listen,
like we're not gonna act like Jalen Hurts hasn't been a part of some mediocre moments.
Listen.
Sure.
We not going
in 5 seasons. He's been in 2 Super Bowls though.
We're not going to say a guy that was carried to the Super Bowl by a running back is better than a guy that carried his entire team and won the MVP. We're not like that's insane, bro. That's insane. I don't even know how to explain that. That's actually disrespectful to Josh Allen, and I'm not a huge Josh Allen guy, but that's a little bit disrespectful. Does Jalen Hurts play fine in big games? Sure, bro. But this season, man, and this just goes into quarterbacking. Like, I got a lot of thoughts on quarterbacking just from this game, but you're literally in a perfect situation. Now, you still got to go out there and make the throws, right? You still got to go out there and make the reads. You still got to go out there and run the offense, run your team, keep the morale high. I get it. But that's so much easier to do when we can hand the ball off. That's so much easier to do when our defense gets us the ball back in short fields. That's so much easier to do when we know our defense is going to get stops. So when I turn the ball over, or I don't got to try to make a hero throw because, bro, I just got to manage the game. And I thought that's what Jalen Hurts did really, really well. He took what was there. You said it. He took what was there. They took away the run. He made some throws. They took away the run and the throw. He made some runs. I enjoyed watching him run. And he did something smart. Bro, he was sliding before he even got hit, like way before he got hit. He could have picked up an extra yard or two, but that's managing the game. Why even risk it? Why even risk it? But we're not going to sit here.
You just took verbatim my argument to you for Brock Purdy, bruh. Oh, he got a great defense. Oh, carried to the Super Bowl by a running back. Oh, it's easy when you just gotta, turn around and hand it off. All those things you just said are things that we have all said about Brock Purdy, my guy.
But listen, Brock Purdy went to the playoffs without McCaffrey. Also, listen to this. That's why I asked that question, right? When you don't have all the pieces, what did he do last year before Saquon? Because
what do you mean he was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago? What are you talking about?
Brock Purdy was in the Super Bowl
with Miles Sanders. What are you talking about?
Brock Purdy was in the Super Bowl last year, and he outplayed Mahomes until probably the last quarter, like throwing the ball, not running around, throwing the ball. Okay. But also,
Jalen Hurts outplayed Mahomes.
Okay, I got a question. I got a question for Rome's point that he's attempting to make. Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen. If you trade Jalen Hurts for Josh Allen, where were the Bills this year, and where were the Eagles?
The Bills would be drafting Shador.
Whoa, no. To that point, where are the Eagles? Are they in the same spot? Because to the point that we just made, Josh Allen doesn't show up in those big games. So when they get to this big game against the Kansas City Chiefs, because they just had a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs and lost. Every year they have a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs and lose. And what did Jalen Hurts just do in the biggest game possible against the Kansas City Chiefs? He won. He got that dub. So are they in the same spot? I'm not convinced. I'm not. I'm just saying that. I'm just putting that out there. And to further my point, let's go ahead and box everybody into a corner real quick. Who in the NFC is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts? Name your top 3 NFC QBs.
Jay Daniels.
I will take that answer.
Brock Purdy, top 10 in every stat.
Get the fuck out of here, T.
Hey,
you can't even say that no more. You can't even say that no more.
What happened?
You could have said that 2 weeks ago. You can't say that no more.
What happened the last time Brock Purdy played Jalen Hurts head to head?
I don't know.
He dropped 40 on you. 4
Y'all,
Nah,
touchdowns.
yeah, Brock got the
kicked
dub.
y'all kicked Big Dom out. That's what I remember. That's what happened.
What happened the last time head to head? He dropped 40 on Darius Slay. He dropped 40 on I don't even know the coordinator. He got fired because of Brock Purdy.
Oh yeah.
You don't
Look,
remember?
I'm taking Jared Goff and Matt
9-1.
Stafford over Brock
Hold
Purdy,
on.
buddy.
He got fired because the angles of pursuit, man.
Bruh,
But
your team was 9-1 until Brock Purdy broke you. You went on like a 6-game winning streak. 6-game losing streak. I don't want to hear it. Brock Purdy broke that team.
he broke them, and then we went to the Super Bowl the next year. So
The
explain
next
that.
year, you had to go to therapy.
He broke us so much
that you had to get Saquon. Listen,
I guess.
Saquon,
And what does that have to do with what Brock Purdy did?
Brock Purdy ain't had nobody to carry him, so he carried the team by himself this year.
Your narrative is such garbage.
carried them to 6 dubs.
Carried the team by himself to 6 wins. It's crazy.
Nah, honestly, the whole conversation. I mean, I could appreciate the Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts thing. I feel like what it really comes down to is roster construction. If I'm being completely honest, like you want to build a good team all around, sure, but it's hard to do that when you have the number 1 highest paid quarterback or top 5 even. It's still difficult. Like Jalen Hurts is at a modest number. Like that allows you to have a defensive line. It allows you to have a featured offensive weapon like Saquon. It allows you to have some good receivers. I feel like that's been a big part of it is that he has a team around him because he's not overpaid.
Yeah, modest.
That's exactly why Purdy is going to fuck y'all up.
Modest numbers for a modest player. His agent couldn't go in there and demand no bread. Purdy agent gonna go in there and say, "Look at the numbers, bro."
Well, no, actually, at the time, it was actually a very good deal. But the Eagles were smart enough to get in there early and give him the bag when it was reasonable, and then everyone else started getting paid. And now he's like in the top 10-ish, highest paid, I guess. But
respectfully,
bro,
Brock Purdy is not even in this combo this season, bro. You're taking Brock Purdy over Jalen Hurts.
He never was, if we're being honest.
I'm looking at quarterback play. Mariota wouldn't have won that Super Bowl. If Jalen Hurts got hurt in the tunnel, Mariota wouldn't have won that Super Bowl.
Would have.
You talking about Pickett?
Marcus Mariota.
Pickett's the backup though.
Oh, I thought Mariota, y'all back. Pickett would have won it. Either way.
The disrespect right now is at an all-time high, bro. All-time high.
But wrong. Josh Allen would have won that Super Bowl, dog. I don't care what you say.
Hell yeah.
Then why didn't he win the AFC Championship game? Then why didn't he win the AFC Championship game?
Justin Herbert bum ass would have won that Super Bowl.
He does not have the team that Jalen.
Bro, I don't want man. Look, what was the score? You acting like they got blown out. I remember that game being close. I remember Josh Allen having a chance on 4th down. And what happened? That's what I'm saying. Like we give excuses to Josh Allen, just like he stole an MVP. That's a conversation we should get into as well. That was a non-deserved MVP, and then we're gonna sit here on this show and act like Josh Allen somehow is better than Jalen Hurts when Jalen Hurts just did what Josh Allen couldn't do.
Listen, winning a Super Bowl is not I'm not going to give that I'm not going to say that's a quarterback stat, bro, because
until when?
Jalen Hurts was literally the MVP of the game. He's the MVP of the game.
We
see these guys, bro. What?
We Flacco win the Super Bowl.
So you literally built this whole argument around Brady being the GOAT, and then Mahomes being the next GOAT based on him being so winning. And then as soon as Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, it's not a winning stat.
I came out and told you the most impressive thing about the game was Jalen Hurts' performance. All right, so I'm not going to say that. But to T's point, bro, let's not sit here and act like, all right, that was not an overall performance. Let's not sit here and act like that there probably isn't about 10 to 12 quarterbacks in the league that win that Super Bowl, bro. Like, that is, to me, that's just a fact, bro. Like, I'm not about to play the game where it's like no one could have won that game except Jalen Hurts. I think that's the difference when we start talking about Brady and his Super Bowls, when he comes back from 27 down and wins a Super Bowl, right? Or he goes to a team like the Bucs that wasn't winning in 10, 12 years and then wins a Super Bowl. That's the level we talking about, right? there are a lot of quarterbacks that win that Super Bowl on Sunday, bro. Jalen Hurts happens to be the one for the Eagles that won it, and he played a hell of a game doing it and played his best game doing it. I think that's the most impressive part. So I don't want to take shit away from him because that is very impressive, bro, to play your biggest game, to be your best in the biggest moment. A lot of people can't be that. There's fry cooks at McDonald's that can't be the best in the biggest moment at Mickey D's when there's 20 people in line. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that Jalen Hurts is able to do that in that moment is impressive, bro. But I think Josh Allen probably wins that bowl, Rome. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Like I don't think he's winning that bowl.
Hey, bro, and this is why your point. It doesn't make sense to me. Because did Josh Allen and that same Buffalo Bills team beat the Chiefs this year in the regular season? The same regular season that the league just awarded him MVP for?
Roster, bro. Like we
they didn't have the same roster this regular season that they did in the postseason.
They don't have
who are they missing?
The Eagles have, bro. There's variables that
bro. Okay,
if this was boxing or UFC, I would agree with your argument completely because you're the only man in there that has control over what's going on, bro. But we talking about a game where it's 52 Bammers on the team, bro. It's 52
did those 52 Bammers beat them in the regular season?
Bro, only teams beat Mahomes this year.
Agreed.
Right. And Josh Allen had 2 chances to do it and could only do it once. When it mattered the most, Josh Allen could not do it. When it mattered the most, Jalen Hurts did it.
Also, being perfectly honest, like I think it's a little unfair to put that all on Josh Allen because Dalton Kincaid did drop that pass.
No. Also,
and it does take a team to beat Mahomes. I agree with that.
The Eagles got to play them in a neutral field. Josh Allen had to go to Arrowhead.
True.
There's a lot of
that's a fair point, T. That's the only fair point I've heard.
There's a lot of what was the Bills defense ranked this season? Because the Eagles was number 1.
Yeah, Bills defense wasn't shit.
Do we think James Cook's as good as Saquon? Does he require as much attention as Saquon Barkley?
No.
Okay, right. Do they have is Jalen Carter as good as is Ed Oliver? Is Ed Oliver better than Jalen Carter? Like, there's a lot of variables, bro, that we could break down and we could say, like, listen, this is also the reason why the Eagles won. And I think there's moments in football where we can say, yo, this player won. This Super Bowl was not one of them. This team won the Super Bowl, bro. It wasn't like Jalen Hurts put them on their back and won the bowl. But Jalen Hurts had a great game and a huge moment, and so did the rest of the team, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I see what you're getting at, Rome. When we talk about legacy and who's greater, if we want to have the greater conversation when this is all said and done, maybe you could say, hey, Jalen Hurts is greater than Josh Allen. But he ain't better, bro. He ain't better.
And those are the semantics that y'all are about to hit me with on this next conversation with Pat and Tom. I already know. Oh, he's not greater. He's you could say he's better, but he doesn't have the. So
he's not greater. He's not better. He's none of that.
However you want to slice it, by those same metrics, Jalen Hurts is one up on Josh Allen. So by those same metrics, Hurts is up right now.
Rome, by your metrics, Terry Bradshaw is 4 up with Dan Marino.
With all due respect, Nick Sirianni, the best coach of all time, according to your metrics.
Right. This is why you can't just use the winning metrics and apply to individuals.
Scruff, serious question though. Where do you rank Sirianni among Eagles coaches all time?
It's right up there with Doug Peterson, I guess.
Yeah. He's looking like number 1.
What does that say?
Number 1, ain't he? He's looking like number 1.
Organizational. I'll say this: organizational structure and culture means a lot, bro.
I wouldn't even say he's better than Andy Reid as a
Nah, he's really not. But he's done a good job managing the team, and so it's the same thing with same argument with Hurts, man. Okay, are there better quarterbacks out there? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Are there better coaches out there than Sirianni? Yeah, no doubt. But
I don't know if I would say absolutely.
He's steering the ship. Hurts is a good player, but he's not the best quarterback in the league. We know that. But he's a damn good quarterback. I'll take him any day of the week.
There's not many I would take over him. Not many at all.
There's about 10. There's about 10 to 12 I'd take over.
That's crazy, bro.
Easily too. I'm talking about not even thinking about it, bro.
So you take a Stafford.
Yeah, probably. Stafford almost beat them, bro. In the
You don't want to say you taking him. I'm not taking him.
I'm taking Stafford over him, bro. Yes.
You taking Goff over him?
No.
Hell no.
No, that's where I draw the line. All right. But there's about 10. There's about 10. And you know what? Maybe Hurts is that 10th. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's in that 9th, 10th range for me. But 5, he's not. There's 5 easy ones I'm taking. Easily. Like without even thinking, bro.
Pat Lamar, Josh
and
Allen.
that goes to show you, bro, that you don't need, and we've always known this about football, man. You don't need a top 5 quarterback to win a bowl, bro. Like you don't, man. This is what this is proving, bro. I don't think it's like, and it's not a knock on Hurts. He's still great in his own right, but at the end of the day, he might be greater than all these dudes when it's all said and done. Greater. That doesn't mean you were better. And this leads me into the conversation that we about to have about one Kermit. It's like, I call that man. Your man.
See the bias and the disrespect already.
He was looking like a Muppet in the pocket on Sunday. All right, I mean, it's like
that post game was hilarious.
The happy feet were at an all-time high, bro. Like he was not. I had to go back and look at some of the all-22 footage that's been coming out, man. Because I'm like, dog, like, was anybody open? Because it made it look like nobody was open. And the case is, people was open. All right. Pat just wasn't seeing him because he was worried about that Eagles pass rush. And my number one point to this is like when we talk about this GOAT conversation, is Brady would have never went out like that. Brady would have went out on his shield, bruh. All right. Brady would have stood in that pocket, been taking crazy hits, been looking Bama's in the eyes as he's throwing the ball down the field and not give a damn about that rush, bro. And to me, that was the ultimate difference between what I realized the ultimate difference between Pat and Brady, man, is that, and I feel like early in his career, Pat was more of that quarterback that would stay in there and take the shot and throw the ball. But in this game, man, something was missing. Something was missing from that standpoint. And I felt like, man, Patrick Mahomes didn't live up to who we all thought he was going into that game. Rome, I got to start with you on this, man. What was up with your boy?
Hey, look, so I mean, I got to call a spade, right? So Pat Mahomes had his absolute worst game as a pro and the absolute worst moment. I mean, maybe it was nerves, maybe the pressure finally got to him. He was literally on the cusp of doing something that has never been done in the history of the sport, which is three-peat. You're the quarterback, you're the face of the league, as T said. So there's a ton of pressure that goes into that. Maybe it finally just all caught up to him because, to your point, Bryce, he looked like a shell of himself. He didn't look like the Pat Mahomes any of us have ever seen play at the pro level. Now, with that said, I got a few questions for y'all. What happened to that narrative with the refs? Well, no, seriously, don't make faces. Don't make faces. All season long,
we asked you a question.
Y'all and the internet were the refs are cheating for the Bryce is dropping videos in the group chat where the montage of all these calls at the last second and all this crazy shit happened. What happened to the refs in this game? Where did they?
First drive, like
they trying to pull that bullshit. What you mean?
Well, they
early.
Yeah, for both teams though. I remember Scruff being a little upset in the first quarter at some of those calls. But he's an Eagles fan, not a Chiefs fan. That's crazy. What happened to all those games that the Chiefs won that everybody said was lucky? Like where was all that luck for the Super Bowl? That luck just
ran out.
You have to be somewhat close. No, Rome, to answer your question, if you're somewhat close in the game, the refs can tip the scale. Being lucky can tip the scale. When you're down 40, I don't give a fuck how lucky you are, bro. There's no coming back from that.
Right. So this is more so about that Eagles dominant defense, like I stated earlier. And then the final question, the final rapid fire question, real quick, was T. Who did you pick again, and who did you say that you don't bet against?
The same person you called the GOAT.
Pat Mahomes, and then Bryce. Who did you pick for this game as well? It was Pat, right. So all signs are pointing to this guy being the best player in the league, the better player in the league of like that. We all can see and admit to that. So while he did lose this game, I do want to remind everybody, and we can run the tape. My original statement was, if he three-peats, he is then the GOAT ahead of Tom Brady, no question, right? So he did not accomplish that goal. So he is now not the GOAT ahead of Tom Brady. but he is still very much in the running to be the GOAT.
I swear, I'm gonna go back and run the tape, but I feel like I swear
Look,
you said he might be the GOAT right now.
If he would have completed the three-peat, I think it would have been unquestioned and undeniable. But I'll go on record here and say it's not over. Pat Mahomes will catch Brady in rings and will go down as the better quarterback of all time.
No, not happening.
And let's not forget, man, Brady won 3, had a 10-year drought, didn't get back. Like, and that, I think what happens sometimes when and remember a couple years ago, man, y'all was getting on me because I said it's an equally impressive accomplishment just to go to 3 straight. You know what I'm saying? I was saying like winning 1 and going to 3. This is why I got respect for those Buffalo Bills teams. Going to 3 straight is hella impressive, bro. I'm not even talking about winning them, just going because it is so challenging to get there. I think what we took for granted in Pat Mahomes' runs is how tough it is to get there, bro. And I could see a world where Pat don't get there next year, the year after, the year. I could see a world where they go on have a 4 or 5 year drought easily, bro. Think about it. Kelsey's is number 1. He's aging out, right? DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, he's sold, right? Juju Smith-Schuster's his next weapon. Xavier Worthy, like he's gonna be a star for a minute. But Hollywood Brown seems like he's kind of tailoring off a little bit. Like the weapons are running out for Pat, bro. The defense, Chris Jones ain't gonna be there forever, man. Like I could see a world where the Chiefs have a little bit of a drop off from a team perspective, and there's a drought for Pat. Are you saying right now, Rome, that you think Pat gonna be back in this situation next season?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Chiefs will easily be back in the divisional round, AFC Championship, no question. They'll be Super Bowl contenders next
right now.
next
What's
season.
up, Rome?
How far you want them to go? AFC Championship?
No, I said they're gonna be back in this position next season. Championship.
So Super Bowl?
Championship.
Yeah.
I won't put a dub on the Super Bowl. I'll put a dub on the AFC Championship, though.
See, I agree. I feel Bryce got a point, though. It's not that easy to get the Super Bowl like 4 times in a row.
They won't get to the AFC Championship.
And you know what it is? Not only is it not that easy to get there 3 times in a row, but what Pat just proved, bruh, it is not that easy to win NFL football games. And all season, right? Pat was making it. In fact, hell nah. Pat made it look tough as shit to win NFL football games all season. You know why? Because 13 of their 15 wins, however many they had, were 1-score games and came down to the last possession, bro. Do you know how small that margin for error is, right? And when you talk about small margin for errors and we start throwing things like luck into the equation, bro. Yeah, some of those wins this year for the Chiefs was lucky, bro. You know why?
Because you don't get lucky that many times, bro. That goes into the greatness. That's what y'all are missing. Y'all want to equate that to luck, but that you can't. So it's luck, like you said, like Scruff said. Actually, in order for luck and the rest to even play an equation, the game has to be somewhat close. So the game was somewhat close enough for it to get lucky that many times, and you just got lucky that many times. What happened in this game is what needed to happen. The Eagles put their foot on the gas and they never let go. If you have a close game with the Chiefs, you lose. Because much like our guy in DC, Jaden Daniels, if you don't want Pat to have the ball in the last second, period. Yeah, it don't matter how the game goes.
Talk about Jaden Daniels. We cannot ignore the fact that every break went right for the Commanders this year, bro. And there is a certain aspect of luck when you tip a fucking Hail Mary and your man catches in the end zone. There is a certain aspect of luck when you play in the Eagles and Devontae Smith drops the wide open pass to seal the game, right? I can't ignore the fact that if you had 13 wins on last possession games, there was a certain amount of luck that the ball didn't slip off somebody's hands at the last second. Like, there is luck that goes into this, and it's a variable that's very hard to account for. And also, you got to be good to even be able to have that variable at play. So I'm not taking away from the great Mahomes.
Six straight AFC Championship games. What is it? Four straight Super Bowls? Like, bro, there's the amount of luck is very small.
The point that he's trying to make is that if these games went slightly different, the Chiefs, like there's some data out there, but like the Chiefs could have easily been like a 7-win team.
Bro, did you see that game? They had one game, bro. What was it, T?
The Raiders game when the center got the off, got the.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Come on, bro. Like you can't have game. You don't win. You don't end up with 13 wins in that fashion without some shit like that happening a couple times, bro. You just don't, bro. Like it is what it is, and it's not to take away from how great Pat Mahomes is. But what I should have realized before this Super Bowl, if I was really analyzing it the way I should have seen this shit coming, bro. I should have realized that this season was actually a chink in the Chiefs' armor, regardless of how many games they won. Because you know what they used to do in those last 4 seasons? They was blowing Bama's out by 24, 25 points all the time, bro. And that shit wasn't happening this year, bro. They've regressed to the mean, bro. The Chiefs have regressed to the mean. I'm not talking about Pat Mahomes, but the Chiefs. And when we start talking about what that future looks like for Pat Mahomes as far as making a bowl in every single season, I don't know, because the team has now regressed to the mean, bro. We'll see if Pat Mahomes can supersede all that.
Listen. That Chiefs team has made winning progressively more difficult season by season. All right. People started to figure out Mahomes 3 seasons ago. Take away the deep stuff, make him check the ball down, and we've watched Mahomes struggle. And I thought we saw some of that in the Super Bowl. Bro, check the ball down. You have no. The same way I blame Lamar for not running the playoffs, the playoffs before last, I blame Pat Mahomes for not checking in and out of plays. Like, bro, I said this in my living room. I was telling Tate. I said Mahomes is pressing too much. He looks flustered. He's pressing. He looks like a guy that has to win on his own. I said, why didn't you hand the ball off to Hunt? Why didn't you hand the ball off to Pacheco? You're not even going to attempt to play balanced offense against the best defense in the league. That's on the coach and that's on the quarterback. Because when you're that level of a quarterback, you can check in and out of plays. And I bash Mahomes for Lamar for it, and I'm bashing Mahomes for it. Look, I'm gonna tell you why I don't think this team goes. I don't even know if they make the playoffs next year. One, that big salary is why the team's getting worse and worse and worse. You can't bring anybody, and they're like the Warriors, bro. You want to hold on to Kelsey. You want to make sure Kelsey retires. You want to make sure Chris Jones retires.
Yeah, they were smart to get rid of Kelsey.
Listen, the Patriots got them old guys up out of there. Tom Brady took pay cuts. If the Chiefs aren't going to follow that blueprint, it's going to be increasingly hard. And I'm going to tell you the biggest reason, and this is not statistics, this is just real life. When the neighborhood bully, I don't know if y'all have seen this in real life, but we've seen it on Friday. I've seen it in real life. When the neighborhood bully gets his ass beat, because Mahomes didn't just lose. That was built to ass. Like when the neighborhood bully gets his ass beat, nobody feels like the neighborhood.
I know where he was going though. He got cut off. But I know where he was going. When the neighborhood bully gets his ass beat, nobody fears that neighborhood bully the same way. I'm with you.
Right. So you lost that illusion of it gotta be it can't be a one possession game. Bro, nigga, people are gonna look at Mahomes and the Chiefs like, bro, if you let Gardner Johnson talk to y'all this crazy, he talking to Kelsey crazy.
He really was.
Crazy. Bro, if you running around against a 4-man rush, running around all crazy, spinning around and doing a bunch of nonsense, but throwing the ball directly to the defense, like that's not, bro. Brady would never, right? And Brady's had bad games. All quarterbacks have bad games, but throwing the ball directly to the defense, just from a guy that has a magnifying glass on that position from day to day now, that is a bad sign, bro. That's a bad sign. And Mahomes is going to have to come out next season and get a few good games in to feel like he still got it. I don't think he shows up next season feeling like he's superhero Mahomes.
And he really wasn't superhero Mahomes this season if you really go back and look at it, bro. And that's what I'm realizing. I mean, look at his stats. Look at his stats from the season, bro.
He's regressed.
What was he in passing this year? What was he in passing?
They were saying Jalen Hurts regressed this whole season, bro, and then he won the fucking Super Bowl. If Pat would have won the Super Bowl, would you still say that he regressed?
Bro, you know what it was?
If he didn't have a bad game in the Super Bowl, would you still be on here saying that he had a regression this season?
Yes.
Maybe not.
What is Pat Mahomes' regression? A Super Bowl loss? Like that? Like you regressed all the way to making it to the Super Bowl and losing? Like
it's how
yeah, I think it's
to sit here and say that the Chiefs, a team that have been good for the last half decade, had a lucky season, and then just a team like the Vikings who had their quarterback get hurt and then have Sam Darnold come in. Their season wasn't lucky. They randomly went 14-2. That has to be a whole lot of luck, right?
Pat Mahomes threw for 3,900 yards this season, bro.
You're saying that like that's bad, bro.
We were just saying
it's the lowest of his career. We're talking about regression. He just did the lowest total of his career in the 8th season of his career, bro.
And what's the highest number? Who has the record for the Commanders for most passing yards in a season? And I know it's not higher than 3,900 yards. So Pat Mahomes' worst season would have been the best season in our team's franchise. Like what regression?
No. First of all, Kirk Cousins smoked 3,900 yards with the Commanders.
With the Commanders?
Yes.
3,900 is not like
the Redskins at the time, but absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Set was the number one passing offense in the league that year. So you're not about to do that to my team. But
not only
Pat Mahomes threw for 3,900 yards, he had 26 tuds. Also the lowest of his career, bro.
There's something there.
Yes, come on, bro. Like you can't ignore it. And if you like, if we're gonna be just legacy, fine. If we're only gonna look at legacy and say he made the Super Bowl, I'm with you on that. He's still great. But if we're talking about how good he is at the position right now, it's the worst he's ever been, bro.
I don't have the tablet in front of me, bro, but I'm willing to bet that 3,900 was still top 10 in the league. I'm willing to bet that 3,900 was still higher than a lot of other quarterbacks in the league this season.
Well, it was certainly higher than your boy Jalen Hurts, who had 3,200.
To say 3,900 is pedestrian, and then there you go. Like, so we're using these numbers, but these two QBs played in the Super Bowl. So 3,900, 3,200, these are the two QBs that made it to where everybody wants to be. Bro, let's keep that in mind.
Let me jump in.
Lamar looked better than Pat this year. Josh Allen looked better than Pat this year. Like, Barrow looked better than Pat this year. Bro, it's a down year for the team. And that team is going to have to rebuild. So I don't think a drought is out of the question. How many more years does Andy Reid have as a coach?
I don't know. We'll see. We don't know. He's not going to be around forever. Here's the thing, though, man, with the Chiefs. What happens is, let's look at Mahomes' career, right? In the beginning, first year, no one could guard him, right? Dude was unstoppable. He was putting up numbers that we've never seen before. And he's progressively put up less numbers, but he's continued to maintain the level of winning. What happened is there wasn't many chances for people to start exposing him. We start figuring things out. Oh, let's take away the deep ball. Let's give him the check downs, whatever. But now there's starting to be some records, some tape on him now. Now there's enough of there's two Super Bowls that he went to where there's a formula now to beat him, right? That's what people are saying now. Before there wasn't necessarily, maybe we had an idea. But now it's like, okay, I think we have a formula now for how we could beat them. So you know what happens now, Rome, is every team knows that formula, and they're going to be ticking and adjusting, and now next season it's going to be even harder for them. So I feel like that's what's happening with Mahomes is people are starting to figure out what the formula is, and, they're going to start taking those things away. Can he continue to evolve to beat that? That's what I haven't seen, and that's what remains to be seen, because now people are starting to figure him out.
I think if you get a good person in his ear, right, because he tried to take the check down and Kelsey dropped those passes. And like I said, my own son has told me when people drop passes, I'm not going back to him with the ball. like you lose confidence in that. And Mahomes is still supremely talented, right? He's still probably one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, if not the most talented quarterback in the league. But football is not a sport where one man can win a game. Not like you can change a game and tip the scales, but Mahomes can't go in there and do it by himself. He's going to need weapons again. He lost Tyreek Hill. Kelsey's aging. So you need to go find another superstar. You better try to level Worthy up. Get rid of those old receivers like Hopkins. like, bro, the team has to rebuild. And look at the passes. Bryce said he watched the all 22. Look at the throws Mahomes was making in the traffic, double coverage, pressure in your face. Look at Jalen Hurts throws. Even when he had pressure, it was one-on-ones. AJ Brown gonna win for me. Devontae Smith gonna win for me. Jahan Dotson gonna win for me. When you a quarterback and you're getting one-on-ones, that's the closest thing you can get to a busted play where somebody's running wide open. My guy versus your guy. It's 7-on-7 out there. So that's why I don't rate Jalen Hurts' performance as that amazing. But I do know what it takes to even have a good game management game as a quarterback. That still means a lot to me. So I think you just tonight, bro, you're having your Mahomes Super Bowl. You're off on every single thing you said tonight. You haven't hit one. You haven't got past the 50 all night, bro.
That out route was like the one when I knew like this dude is cooked, bro.
He missed by like 5 yards.
Bro, the fourth down, he threw the out route, and it's like he had it locked in his mind where he was going with the ball before anything even played out, bro. This is why I said Brady would never, right? Because Brady was playing like Brady. If Brady was going to go somewhere and had his mind made up, he knew the shit was open, bro. Like he knew it because he had dissected everything pre-snap. That's where Mahomes lost the game, in my opinion, bro. He was not mentally locked in. The Eagles rattled him so much, and there are some videos circulating that say maybe Mahomes got a hit to the head early on that affected him. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that. But that out route, and just go back and look at that fourth down. I think it was early in the third quarter. Basically, it was do or die time, right? They still had a shot. If Mahomes is who we think he is, if he's Brady, we done seen Brady come down from 25 and win a bowl, right? If he's that, he still got a shot, right? And he threw that out route. I think it was Avonte Maddox that made the play. And I was like, bruh, you didn't even see that. You're not even seeing the field right now, bruh.
And Avonte Maddox is a bum.
And further proof, bro. And this is why I have to give Mahomes a little bit of credit. At the very end of the game, the Eagles had pulled their corners and their safeties. I'm not talking about the last worthy play. I'm talking about the second to last worthy play, right? At some point, Mahomes looked around and said, F it, bro. I got to stand in this pocket. I got to take these hits, and I got to deliver this football. And in one instance, it ended up being a sack fumble and Jalen Carter hitting him in the face with two hands, which should have been called, but it wasn't, right? But that's when Mahomes finally said F it, bro. But he took 3.5 quarters to say F it. 3.5 quarters. And that's why I was like, dog, Brady would never. Brady would have seen in the first quarter what type of game it was. He would have been like, oh, F it. First quarter. This is how I got to rock. But Mahomes, man, I think he got a little too used to winning those type of games he had won all season, bro.
Yeah,
he got
or at least at halftime.
The pendulum swinging his way all season. And, I think that was the ultimate downfall, if you ask me.
Bro, if you're Tom Brady at that game, watching it live, you leave that game saying my legacy's fine. Like, my legacy's intact.
I'm straight.
Yeah.
I'm straight.
That was the silver lining of the whole thing. Was just like Tom Brady gets to call the game and watch his legacy protected. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, wow, rough game prepared for Mahomes.
Brady. I mean, if you're Brady, you already felt like your legacy was intact. If we're being honest,
Brady, because Brady didn't lean on him like he could have. Because if that was like Manning or Romo, they would have been talking about like the bad decisions and he should have got out of this play. Brady kind of gave him grace.
Because Brady, you know why? Because Brady thought at halftime, Mahomes gonna turn this shit around, bro. And you know what? Anybody that's been watching Mahomes for the last 7 seasons thought the same damn thing, bro. It wasn't an Eagles fan on this planet that thought that the second half was gonna go like the first half, bro. Everybody thought Mahomes gonna show up, but you know what? He showed why. Right now, that GOAT conversation, Mahomes right here, Brady up there, bro. And don't get me wrong, Pat might be second to Brady even in this moment. But it's a clear-cut second. It's not close in my opinion because Brady would have never went out like that.
He's not past Montana yet.
You might be right about that. You might be right about that. He's probably not past Montana. But I know one thing. I didn't have the chance to watch Montana. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ancient, all right. But I did get to watch Brady very thoroughly, man. And I know for a fact Brady would have stared that defense down. It would have been Bama's trying to hit him. He would have looked him in the face and still been getting rid of the ball. Pat Mahomes running back there like a chicken with his head cut off, bro, looking everywhere but downfield, bro. And I don't know, man. It hurt me to watch because I thought like Rome that Mahomes was on a GOAT trajectory, and now I have real questions about that.
I'm gonna tell you one more thing that Brady would have did right early in that game. He would have went to that sideline and lit a fire under that offensive line and Gronk for dropping a first down on the first drive. Like, absolutely unacceptable in a big game. He would have lit a fire in them boys.
In my opinion, another thing with Mahomes in that game was his body language. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not studying quarterbacks or anything, but I know people pretty well. I'm looking at this guy's body language. This doesn't look like a guy that looks confident. Not the body language that I would like to see from my leader. You know,
he missed a throw on the run where he could have underhand scooped the ball to the guy. And normally Mahomes sidearms that throw, but he threw it over the top, 3/4 delivery. And I'm like, Bryce, I didn't see the rumors that he took a hit to the head, but if that's the case, it would make some things make sense to me. But other than that, I just thought the pressure of the moment got to him.
So let me get this straight. This is what I'm gathering from this conversation right now. Y'all are taking this one god awful performance, terrible performance in the biggest possible stage, and you're telling me that Pat is completely falling off a cliff. We're not going to see Pat in the Super Bowl for a 10-year drought.
Let's put it in perspective,
These other QBs are better than him now. I'm trying to keep it in perspective.
Let's put it in perspective. Let's put it in perspective for a second, though, Rome, because he's all right. So respect for the fact that he's been to 5 Super Bowls, right? So now let's start talking about the overall. He's 3-2 in Super Bowls. So that means 3 of the Super Bowls he showed up. The other 2 he didn't, right? Brady's 7-3 in Super Bowls. So that's what we're talking about now. This is not the first time that he hasn't showed up in the Super Bowl. This is the worst. But there was another Super Bowl where they lost 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to say now we're talking about him like he's LeBron a little bit. It's like, okay, well, you get in the Super Bowl and you're not performing.
And you know what?
He's Brady, 3 Super Bowls.
Really great. My bad. Brady said something really great before the game started, man. And as much as I can't stand Brady on the telecast sometimes, bro, he got gems that only a Brady could have. But he was saying that bruh, nobody remembers the AFC Championship I lost to Peyton Manning.
I do.
Nobody. No, this is what Brady is saying.
I was a Peyton guy.
He walks around day to day. He was like, nobody comes up to him and reminds him how he lost to Peyton Manning in the AFC Championship. Nobody comes up and reminds him how he lost to the Ravens in the AFC Championship. No one cares about those, right? He said the way he's constantly remembered is his Super Bowl L's. He was like, to this day, people will come up to him, he said when he goes to the New York games, Spike Lee will fake like he's holding the ball on his head and laugh at Brady, right? He was like, to this day, this is what happens to me. I think it's, we're seeing it play out in real time for Pat Mahomes, right, Ron? Because you bring up everything he's done, and it's worthy of greatness, no question. But when you're on this level, bro, you get remembered for what you did in the biggest moments, and that's the crux of being this great, dog. And it sucks for Mahomes because now we look at him 3-2 versus 7-3, not really comparable, bro.
Listen, 2 of those wins.
How is that not?
It's not, bro.
It's not anymore.
7-3. Do the math.
What does it say? Okay. So if he goes to 5 more Super Bowls, he'd win 3 more by this metric, and then he'd have be one short of Brady. So I mean, it's not like it's not comparable.
That means he got to win 3 straight. He got to win
there's
3
an
straight.
edge, though.
You telling me he has to do something he could never do, right? He just showed he couldn't win 3 straight. To catch Brady, he literally has to win 3 straight at some point. To
catch Brady in the same amount. So if he gets 7, if he goes to 12 Super Bowls and wins 7, you still gonna say Brady's better because he did it in 2 less?
No.
Nah, but I don't think these numbers are crazy, bro. I don't think you're going to 12 goals.
Right, you point, and this is not me being a homer, but to Bryce's point, even in 2 of those Super Bowl wins against the 49ers, bro, he's fighting for his life for 3 quarters against Jimmy G and Brock Purdy and guys that people don't really respect. I mean, I'm just giving you the numbers, right? Six out of 8 quarters in 2 Super Bowls, you're fighting for your life. Like they pulled up the stats from the last Super Bowl with Purdy. Mahomes
respectfully, T, you know what I remember from the Super Bowl with Purdy is Pat Mahomes' last drive. I don't remember the first 3 quarters. I really don't.
That's the part. He wasn't playing that well.
We're saying the same thing, bro. His first.
No, I know. That's what
yards. Like
that's my point. Like y'all want to say like, okay, well, you remember for your big moments when he had a poor moment, but that 49ers game, he had a great moment, and that's what I remember the most.
I think Mahomes is in dangerous territory of being the LeBron of the NFL. And LeBron will never. There are people that will go to their deathbed saying he was not better than Jordan because Jordan went 6 times and won 6 times.
Yep.
Two three-peats.
Man, our kids are gonna watch this shit and be like, man, our dads are old as fuck, bro. Like, first of all, you said he's gonna be the LeBron of the NFL. Like, that's a negative connotation. Like, that's incredible, bro. I hope one day I'm a LeBron of the shit that I do for work, bro. That would be great. Like,
but the problem is LeBron never lost to Jordan. Mahomes lost to Brady.
Yeah. And that is one thing that, you know, the Brady supporters will always have in their back pocket. Brady did beat him in the Super Bowl, so can't argue that one.
It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out, man. I think we got a couple of bets brewing over here too, man. And you know, we're gonna be doing this show for the long haul. So I think the good thing about it is we're gonna be able to see this play out in real time, bro. And Rome, it's not like it's a 0% chance that you end up being right about this, right? I think it's closer to like 60-40, right? But before this game, I would have thought it was like 50-50 that he ended up beating out Tom Brady.
Bro, I'm telling you, if
it's no longer a 50-50 scenario in my opinion.
I thought it was 60-40 Mahomes' way. I thought for sure Mahomes would catch Brady. But getting your ass kicked like that, I don't think it's like when I watch Anderson Silva get his ass kicked the first time. Like, you just, bro.
So y'all don't think Pat got no Kobe in him?
When that leg
y'all don't think Pat is at home right now? Just this shit just brewing in him, and he gonna come back better than ever.
But
y'all don't think he's gonna talk to the GM, get him some real weapons?
I think you're right, bro. But what we're realizing and what we saw play out in real time is the amount of variables that go into winning a bowl, bro. We just all agreed that there's a lot of other quarterbacks that could have won the bowl that Jalen Hurts just got. I think if Pat Mahomes, I think if you trade Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts in the last bowl we just watched, I think Pat Mahomes wins that bowl, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's so many variables that have to go into this and go into winning one of these. And I just feel like I thought Pat Mahomes was that quarterback that supersedes all the variables. And what I'm realizing is, they got lucky a good amount. They had a great season. There was a lot of luck involved as well, bro. And I just think that it's closer than it's ever been for Pat and the rest of the field.
You know what was involved in Brady sustaining success the way he did? Outside of, I already mentioned, taking the pay cuts, the organization making good decisions, getting them weapons, things like that. My man had to change his entire lifestyle outside of football. Mahomes, bro, I heard Mahomes' trainer this year say he has a dad bod, and that's kind of what we want. We keep that extra weight on them on purpose. Bro, there's no athlete in history that I have heard of saying that carrying around extra fat is productive. Bro, listen, Brady stopped eating gluten. He stopped drinking milk. He made a book. He took his own trainer and said, forget the team's trainer. Mahomes is going to have to do a lot if you want to, it's going to have to be a bigger sacrifice. I'll say that.
We about to find out how much he loves it, bro. That's for sure. We about to find out how much he loves it.
We're going to see.
Brady was a winner. And Brady was a winner everywhere he was at, right? You know what I'm saying? Brady was a winner. He won at Michigan. He won it. And when we got to the league, bro, we can't say the same for Pat, bro.
And that's another thing you talk about with the Brady thing is Brady won in 2 places. You know what I'm saying? But one thing with the Mahomes thing is, I agree. I think it might be a little tough for him. He's had a good run, but the other quarterbacks they're knocking on the door too. Like Burrow's knocking on the door. Allen's knocking on the door. Lamar Jackson is banging on the door. Bro.
JD5 is a young pup.
I'm just strictly talking about AFC.
Man is ready, bro. So if you're gonna that's another good point, Scruff. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes kind of caught the transition point for a lot of these quarterbacks, right? It was the Breeze, Rodgers, Rivers era, right? And there was probably one or two others that I'm leaving out. Peyton, right?
Stafford.
But yeah, and he kind of caught that transition point to where they were coming out, they were kind of regressing while he was on his come up. But now there's a whole nother crop on the come up, and they all watch Pat Mahomes coming up, right? So they all study your shit. They not only did they study Brady, but they studied you too. And they are essentially 2.0s of Mahomes, right? Now, I don't want to say it in that way, but in the sense that they studied him to get where they are, right? So I think it's going to be a lot of young up and comers that Pat's going to have to fend off. Again, man, don't forget Brady had a 10-year drought in between bowl wins, bro.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing about Brady's Super Bowl wins to me is 2 or 3 of them were past 40, right? After 40 to the 10-year drought point, I believe. Like multiple after 40. That's impressive by any athlete. Like athletes don't really win chips after 40. So I think that's the most impressive thing. Really getting to 4 would be impressive by anybody, but Brady doing those 3 after 40 is crazy.
Did anybody catch that one of them Brady only type gems where he said, I feel like I'm the only person who caught this. He said they measure athletes 40 times, but they never measure my quarterback processing time. He was like, that's my 40 time. Like how quickly I could diagnose your defense. He said, that's my 40 time. I could go out there and know where you're going before you get there. I can know, all I need to do is change one route. I got a guy open. Like, I think if Mahomes gets a little more of that and relies a little bit less, and Brady gets that right from not having the Mahomes arm talent, not having the Mahomes athleticism. But now I think Pat is going to have to, in a faster, more athletic league where your dad by it, because some of them joints he could have escaped if he was in better shape. JD5 would have got out of there. Jalen Hurts would have got out of there. But some of them joints, he just got grabbed because he looked old, and he's not that old. So I think he's going to have to change his recipe up a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, you got to step it up. Got to raise your bar.
That's what time is, and I don't put it past him to be able to do it. But I'm excited to see how it all plays out, man. We're gonna see how much he loves this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because to T's point, he's not gonna be able to just rely on athletic ability moving forward. He's gonna have to up his game and do something similar to Brady. Really take it to the next level, man. Before we get out of here, fellas, anything else anybody wants to add? I think it was a real good conversation. I think we really, I like where we went with this Brady Mahomes conversation at the end.
Nah, I want to wait. I do want to encourage everybody Valentine's Day to have a good Valentine's weekend. Download that P&D/Drake album. You know what I'm saying? I want to encourage.
Shameless plug. You're not getting paid to plug that at all. He's not getting $1 in his pocket to plug that. It's insanity, bro.
Hey, he's just doing right by the people, man. That's it. That's a good plug.
Oh, you seconded it, boy. Y'all boys are sold, man. Good God.
Listen,
classic on the way.
Free promo. At least make them give us a couple dollars, man.
Hey, man. If you see me with an owl chain, don't say nothing.
I won't be surprised.
That's all
I got the hoodie. I know you got the hoodie.
You know what I'm saying? So you see me.
Hey, all I'm saying is I'm gonna make this album work for me. I might not be getting paid for this promo, but this album is gonna lead to a good weekend for your boy.
But no, I say that to say, let's marinate on this album and let's come back and have that Super Bowl, that biggest the what discussion, because I got 30 minutes of content on that alone. I can start my own podcast off that problem. You know?
I believe you. I believe you, bro. I believe you. That was your Super Bowl right there. All right.
It was cool. That's all I'm gonna say. It was cool. I think everybody won.
All right, we'll get into that next week, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Y'all know how we end each and every show.